Who fancies a day at the zoo?
I do.
Come along with Adelaide Eternal. We're doing a zoo trip. Excursion to red-green aggro.
Let's do it.
So this is an aggressive red-green deck. Now, you'll see a lot of aggressive decks are mono-red, and mono-red threats tend to be very scary, like Jackal Pup, but they tend to be very vulnerable to things like Hydroblast. That is not the case for Red-Green Zoo. Red-Green Zoo comes out of the gates fast with its Jackal Pup, and its Mog Fanatic, and its Grim Lavamancer. But after that, it suddenly turns into a green deck, and it plays cards like Sky Shroud Elite, River Boa, and Call of the Herd Elephant tokens. Now, these are not vulnerable to your run-of-the-mill Hydroblasts, and they can often surprise your opponent when they thought they sideboarded right, but it turns out most of your deck is actually green threats. The things they really care about are 3/3 elephants.
Absolutely.
Right? Your Jackal Pup's already done its work. It's got them down by 4 damage, let's say, and instead you're closing out with elephants. Now, speaking of elephants, there are other cards that also make elephants. What's this Assault Battery?
Oh my gosh. So guys, Red Green Zoo is one of my favourite decks to play. This is the thing that I want to play on most nights where I don't have to think too much and I can just have fun with Magic. So this card overperforms, I feel, for me, because it does actually it's versatile in the sense that you can remove a creature that is going to potentially block your bigger creatures. You can finish the opponent off with 2 damage, or spend 4 and make an elephant, which in pre-modern, spending 4 for a 3/3 elephant is actually not too bad a rate, especially when you've got the versatility earlier in the game with the assault side of this card.
That's so good. Yeah. Now, it seems to do everything that the red-green deck wants it to do, get rid of blockers and also give them reach and have threats. So it's kind of like the fire and ice for green-red.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of reach, there's a little bit of reach here in the form of Lightning Bolt to either clear the blockers or finish them off when your opponent's on 3. The same with Incinerate, and also the really important Fire Blast, the cheeky one-off.
Yeah.
I like that cheeky one-off.
Yeah. I wish the mana base could support more than one. But yeah, it does come as a surprise often when you might only have 2 mountains and the rest of your forests in play, and you sack those 2 mountains for the 4 damage. It's fantastic.
Last thing they expect when they're thinking it's a multicolour deck is Fire Blast, which is awesome. Speaking of multicolour, Naturalize is one of these powerful tools that you get access to that those typical mono-red decks don't get. So the cost benefits analysis, you maybe have to rely on your mana base a little bit more, and sometimes you might get screwed from one color or the other. But the upside of the fact that when your opponent plays a powerful enchantment like Humility, let's say, that Naturalize answers it. If they play a powerful enchantment like, I don't know, Circle of Protection Red, Warmth, all of these types of cards that typically tend to be haymakers against aggressive decks. Not only are you diversified in the color of your threats, but you're also diversifying your answers with Naturalize. The other aspect of your diversification is Sylvan Library. Now, this is an aggro deck, but it has the ability to play a little bit more mid-range. And that's a really important thing that some of the all-in aggressive decks can't always do. But in general, you'll find that pre-modern, whilst there are games that are very fast and there are some games that are a little bit slower, the ability to be able to pivot from one role to another gives you a lot of strength in pre-modern. And Red Green Zoo has that linearity. I've got a linear game plan, and then, oh no, actually, I really need to recognize I need to land this Sylvan Library, I need to draw extra cards as needed, and then I've got my opponent down to 4, I need to dig to my Fire Blast, or I need to dig to my burn spells. This is a really good tool that the mono-red decks don't necessarily have access to. Speaking of tools mono-red decks don't have access to, Rancor.
Oh, I love Rancor.
So this is reach, right? So it gets damage to the opponent. It makes every creature you have a threat. You draw a late game Jackal Pup, and they go, oh, that's fine, I'm just going to block with my 1/1 tokens from a cycled Decree of Justice. And you go, well, as long as I ranker's always going to make any top deck threat later on in the game, hitting like a truck, hitting like an elephant or bigger. Yeah. So very, very important card when you have access to green. Speaking of access to green, I think the last card is River Bowler. This seems like a kind of a bit of a meta.
Yeah, so this one, so in our Adelaide meta, we've got a fair few people running blue decks. So River Bowl is quite good against those blue decks. Not so good against people who are not playing blue. It just depends on what your meta is like. The other card I run is Spine Sliver. So if you're playing against creature heavy decks, Spine Sliver is really good. So he's the one who gets the extra pump for every time that a creature is blocking a sliver. And they're actually quite powerful when you've got multiple Spine Slivers on your table as well, because those abilities stack and multiply. So it can be pretty crazy. So it's really, that's your flex spot there, that 2-drop creature is
kind of the original Bushido or whatever mechanic is. That's interesting that the Spine Sliver is basically a bear when it hits players and an elephant when it battles. So it just kind of constantly changes its size, which is cool. I like your mana base. It's very stable. There's nice, allied coloured mana base that gets to fit in 3 treetop villagers, which the village people, incredibly powerful attacker. Like very, very, very good. Because having trample and hitting for 3 is massive. But also I noticed you got Bloodstained Mires. I assume this is a Sylvan Library interaction.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an extra little one so you can fetch, because Sylvan Library is great. It's even better if you can shuffle away the cards that you don't want of that pile of 3. So yeah, just in there for fetching.
And I guess you got like a bit of fuel for Grim Lavamancer. You've got full 4 Lavamancers. That's always useful. Now your sideboard is, let's see, we've got anti-enchantment hate in the form of Tranquil Domain. We've got anti-artifact hate in the form of Crumble. We've got both in the form of Naturalize. But then we've got some cards, Pyroblast straightforward and Phyrexian Furnace straightforward, but we've got a couple of cards that are interesting includes. So first of all, Ravenous Baloth. Why is this in here?
Okay, so against mono red, it's quite helpful because you need to have that life gain to go a bit longer, and Ravenous Baloth is a bigger creature against their smaller creatures, so he usually does really well to block up against that. What else is here? Have you seen? Surely I've done this against your land store before.
I've been on the receiving end of Simoon.
Yeah. So obviously a really great one-sided sweeper, and when you've got the Decree of Justice is commonly played in black-white control, in land steal. It's really good at instant speed after they've done a Decree of Justice at the end of your turn, and then you just wipe them out after those soldiers hit the table. It's pretty fun to.
That's good. That's so good, and I can imagine it playing the role of like Engineered Plague or something against a Goblins deck or something along those lines. Now, is it? The specific wording on it is opponent controls. Yeah. Like it's just so bizarre that you see this kind of effect that it does it at instant speed, and it's the opponent controls. So like it doesn't even kill your Jackal Pup.
No. Surprise!
So yeah, you couldn't play Pyroclasm, right? Yeah. So I love that. This is really, really cool. Now the problem is that it does clock in at $500,000, is it?
Yeah, $523 I've got on the screen. Saying that though, this is such a budget-friendly version. The version I've got here is just the printings that I like, and you can do it in a more budget-friendly way. Should we have a look at that one?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay.
What? Like, where did the $200 go?
I know.
It's
so good.
It's $55.
So good. So, I mean, look, you're keeping exactly the same creatures. These are just obviously newer printings, which are going to be a bit cheaper. I've taken out the Sylvan Libraries in this one. There are some cases where just an extra ranker is just better, and also an extra elephant token is just better, or an extra 2 damage is just better, so that saves you from not having to spend for the Sylvan Libraries.
So it's not strictly worse, it's just a bit more aggressive.
Exactly. And then otherwise it's just changing up the mana base a little bit. So getting out those fetched lands. We don't have Sylvan Library, we don't need to run Bloodstained Mire then as a little shuffle effect. So we're playing a couple of extra mountains, and instead of the wooded foothills, we're playing the filter land, the green-red filter land, Mossfire Valley. We've also got a Gemstone Mine, and this combos off quite well with the Lair lands. So Lairs you only really see in pre-modern right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's only playable in pre-modern. You know,
Yeah.
it's legal elsewhere, but it's bad.
So you can
But
actually,
here, the interaction between that and Gemstone Mine,
Yeah.
picking it up and replaying it,
yeah,
sweet.
it works really well.
Yeah, I
apart
can
from-
imagine that your Moss Fire Valley could be more Gemstone Mines because of that turn 1 Jackal
Yep.
Cup, turn 1 Lightning Bolt, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Personal preference, really. They're all cheap, accessible cards.
Absolutely, yeah. End of the day, not even $55 worth of a competitive pre-modern deck that is super fun to play. Well, that's Red Green Zoo. I enjoyed my time at the zoo. Did you enjoy your time at the zoo?
I did a nice little picnic at the Elephant Sanctuary.
Thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel.
Thanks, folks.
See you, folks.